today we're gonna be talking about the Arctic Scuba theory. So if you know what that means, then just go ahead and comment down below. Let me know because it's very rare for people to know what that actually means. And if you don't know what that means, well, you're in luck because that's what this video is about. So we're going to talk about the origin of the term, why it's used, and how it's changed over time. So let us go ahead and get right into the history of the term Arctic Scuba. The term Arctic Scuba is thought to have originated in the early 1900s during the peak of the British Empire. It was first used by British soldiers stationed in Arctic regions such as Greenland and northern Canada during the First World War. They encountered Inuit people who had a different way of speaking, which they found difficult to understand. The Inuit language has a number of sounds that are not present in English, such as the uvular consonants, which are made by curling the back of the tongue, and the sound can be heard in words like kuk or kugarok, which means naif. Another example would be ng, which is a velar nasal, which is a sound made by closing off the back of the mouth and nasalizing your voice. This sound can be seen in the word igloo. Now, both of these sounds are pretty hard to make, especially for someone who's not accustomed to making them. So the British soldiers started using the term Arctic gibberish to describe the language. It was a way of mocking the Inuit people and their language, which they couldn't understand. It was kind of a way to cope with not understanding what the heck is going on. But over time, the term evolved and took on a life of its own. The term Arctic gibberish eventually became shortened to Arctic Goopy and then eventually to Arctic Goopy. So you've got all kinds of theories about where the actual word came from, but this is the most likely one. Now, there's another theory out there that says that the term originated from the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen. During his travels in the Arctic, he encountered the Inuit people and their language. However, this is unlikely because the earliest written record of the term Arctic Scuba dates back to the 1920s, long after Amundsen's death. Amundsen died in 1928, so that rules him out. And it's also unlikely that the term originated from Roald Dahl, the famous author of children's books like James and the Giant Peach and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There's no evidence to support this claim, so it's best to ignore it. Regardless of its exact origin, the meaning of the term remained relatively consistent throughout its usage. It's always been used to describe something incomprehensible or nonsense, like when someone is trying to translate the Inuit language into English and it just doesn't make sense. You might say that their words are Arctic goopy, or if someone is just speaking too fast or using too many big words, you could say that they sound like an Arctic goopy. It's essentially a way of saying, I do understand what the heck you were saying. However, more recently, the term has taken on a new meaning. In recent years, the term Arctic goopy has been adopted by some online communities as a way to describe text or speech that is intentionally obscure or nonsensical. For example, you might see it used in a comment section under a YouTube video where someone is just typing out random letters and words that make absolutely no sense. Or you might see it used in a forum post where someone is trying to sound smart, but ends up using a bunch of technical jargon that doesn't really mean anything. This use of the term is a clear example of the evolution of language that has occurred in the online world. The internet has allowed for the rapid spread of new slang terms and phrases, often with meanings that are completely different from the original intent. The term Arctic goopy is a prime example of this phenomenon, which is probably not going to stop anytime soon. Now the word has largely remained within online communities, though it has occasionally appeared in mainstream media. For example, in 2017, the British newspaper The Guardian published an article titled The Arctic Scuba Theory. Why does my boss keep hiring idiots? This was obviously using the term in a slightly different context than it was originally intended. But it's still an example of the word being used outside of the online world. Despite the word's somewhat niche usage, it has managed to retain much of its original meaning and feel while also evolving to fit new contexts. It's a good example of how slang and neologisms can thrive even in the face of changing times. As we move forward, it'll be interesting to see how the term continues to evolve. Will it continue to be used primarily in online communities, or will it become more widespread? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, The term Arctic Guba has a rich history that is worth understanding if you want to fully appreciate its meaning and usage today. So there you have it, the history and meaning of the term Arctic Guba. Do you use this term yourself? If so, what do you use it for? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Also, if there are any other obscure or lesser-known slang terms that you'd like me to research and explain, let me know in the comments down below. I always love doing these types of videos because I get to learn a lot and share that knowledge with all of you. So please leave your suggestions down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button below. It helps me out a ton. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really does help me grow and reach a wider audience. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.